It was an experience unlike any other. I was told to walk off this project. It would ruin my career. This was insane. The organ would be a complete disaster. Nobody would ever pay any attention to it. It took 2.5 years to reach this design and well over 40 different models.
There were many hurdles that had to be overcome, and they were civic hurdles and architectural hurdles.
Deborah Borda has called the journey to the creation of Walt Disney Concert Hall as a 16-year odyssey. It wasn't that long for the organ, but it certainly was a bit of a journey, wasn't it?
A very circuitous journey. We studied all the organs that we could find in history and did a thorough analysis of what they look like. And it seemed like there was a lot of variations possible.
Because in a room like this, you don't put sculpture or art, it's focusing on the music. So we thought there was a rationale for the organ to have some spunk.
Usually you're dealing in a building that exists. The building not only didn't exist, its design kept changing.
I worked with Manuel Rosales, who was selected as the organ builder.
Of course, we have the whole element of having dealt with Frank Gehry. The organ had to come through many hoops to please his artistic sense.
Rosales used to come in and say, oh no, you can't do that.
I've got to make sure that whatever he designs works ultimately as a musical instrument.
At first he said, well, the organ pipes have to be vertical. And then when we bent them, he said, you can't bend them. I said, well, a trumpet and a French horn are bent and they still produce good sound. So I don't understand. Prove it to me. You know, so this was the kind of discussion we were having.
And that was the reason that I had the veto power over many of the ideas, some of which may have been architecturally fantastic, but totally impractical. For example, hanging all the pipes from the ceiling is the famous one, and having the console at the very top, with really no way to get the musician there, without having some kind of a lift come up out of them. It just didn't sound right. It just didn't look like it was gonna work.
And so finally he pushed me back to an organ with the pipes on the, it was 4 square, and he said, now this works. So I said, well, I don't like it. Then one day he broke down and he said, okay. He said, I belong to a fraternity of organ builders, and I got a lot of pressure on me. He said, of course you can do it. So let's do it. The first organ concert we had here, all the fraternity of organ builders came.
It was the American Guild of Organists.
And they loved it. And they said to me, this is wonderful. I said, so give me a break. I was trying.
So we have something here that's unique, fabulous, gets attention. People are curious about it.
It's like a crown for the hall, almost.
Yeah.
It's really a beauty.
It has to be one of the most distinctive organs in the world.
I don't think there's too many like that.
After hearing the organ used many times, I felt that it would become counterproductive just to keep working on it. One needs to know when a painting is finished. One needs to know when the piece of sculpture is finished, because you can work on it for the rest of your life. So yes, it's been quite a, shall we say, a sobering experience to be here, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.